An introduction to law and economics. For the rational study of the law and the black letter man, maybe the man of the present, but the man of the future is the man of statistics and the master of economics. And we learn that for everything we have to give up something else. We're taught to set the advantage we gain against the other advantage we lose, and to know what we are doing when we elect. Oliver Wendell Holmes, The Path of the Law, 10 Harvard Law Review, 457, 459, 474. In 1987. To me, the most interesting aspect of the law and economics movement has been its aspiration to place the study of law on a scientific basis, with coherent theory, precise hypotheses deduced from the theory, and empirical tests of the hypotheses. Law is a social institution of enormous antiquity and importance, and I can see no reason why it should not be amenable to scientific study. Economics is the most advanced of the social sciences, and the legal system contains many parallels to and overlaps with the systems that economists have studied successfully. Judge Richard A. Posner and Michael Farr and Roger Van Berg, EDS Essays in Law and Economics, 1989. Until recently, law confined the use of economics to antitrust law, regulated in industries, tax, and some special topics like determining monetary damages. In these areas, law needed economics to answer such questions. What is the defendant's share of the market? Will price controls on automobile insurance reduce its availability? Who really bears the burden of the capital gains tax? And how much future income did the children lose because of their mother's death? Beginning in the early 1960s, this limited interaction changed dramatically when the economic analysis of law expanded into the more traditional areas of the law, such as property, contracts, torts, criminal law, and procedure and constitutional law. This new use of economics in the law asks such questions. Will private ownership of the electromagnetic spectrum encourage its efficient use? What remedy for breach of contract will cause efficient reliance on promises? Do businesses take too much or too little precaution when the law holds them strictly liable for injuries to consumers? And will harsher punishment deter violent crime? Economics has changed the nature of legal scholarship, a common understanding of legal rules and institutions, and even the practice of law. As proof, consider these indicators of the impact of economics on law. By 1990, at least one economist was on the faculty of each of the top law schools in North America and some in Western Europe. Joint degree programs, a PhD in economics and a JD in law, exist in many prominent universities. Law reviews publish many articles using the economic approach, and there are several journals devoted exclusively to the field. An exhaustive study found that articles using the economic approach are cited in the major American law journals more than articles using any other approach. Many law school courses in America now include a brief summary of the economic analysis of law in question. Many substantive law areas, such as corporate law, are often taught from a law and economics perspective. By the late 1990s, there were professional organizations in law and economics in Europe, Canada, and the United States, Australia, and elsewhere. The field received the highest level of recognition in 1991-1992 when consecutive Nobel Prizes in economics were awarded to economists who helped to found the economic analysis of law. Ronald Coase and Gary Becker. Summing this up, Professor Bruce Ackerman of the Yale Law School described the economic approach to law as the most important development in legal scholarship in the 20th century. The new field's impact extends beyond the universities to the practice of law and the implementation of public money. Economics provided the intellectual foundations for the deregulation movement in the 1970s, which resulted in such dramatic changes in America as the dissolution of regulatory bodies that set prices and routes for airlines, trucks, and railroads. Economics also served as the intellectual force behind the revolution in antitrust law in the United States and in the 1970s and 1980s. In another policy area, a commission created by Congress in 1984 to reform criminal sentencing and the federal courts explicitly used the findings of law and economics to reach some of its results. Furthermore, several prominent law and economic scholars have become federal judges and use economic analysis in their opinions. Associate Justice Stephen Breyer of the U.S. Supreme Court, Judge Richard A. Posner, and Judge Frank Easterbrook of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, Judge Guido Calabresi of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, Judge Douglas Ginsburg, and former Judge Robert Bork of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, and Judge Alex Kozinski of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit.